Hey, everybody, welcome to Love and Reload, the voice of the relocation industry. I am your host, Ben Cross, and I'm so blessed and honored to be here with my friend, Cristhel Ibarra Melendez from Sterling Lexicon. I was going to try to pull off the title too, Cristhel. It's too many words. Cristhel, it's so good to see you. How you doing, my friend?
Good. Thank you for having me. You got the name perfect.
I
That's
got the name
important.
right. And we all know who you are. We all know what you do. You are the person that makes it all work over there. You know, I know Craig, listen, Craig will take all the credit. We know Craig will, okay? But really we know it's you, Cristhel,
No, no,
okay?
no, no,
No,
no,
I'm just
no.
kidding.
He
We
he.
love Craig too. We
Don't
love
get me
Craig
in
too.
trouble.
I know, right? Right off the bat. The 30 seconds he watches, he's gonna be like, "You were talking about." No, I'm just kidding, Craig. We love you, Craig. No, Cristhel, it's so great to have you here. I'm so happy that you made time, and we got people checking in right now. If you're with us watching right now, hit that like button, get in the comments. I want to know who you are, where you are. We're going to be talking about supplier networks. We're going to be talking about how to make networks work. We're going to be talking about data and analytics and how do you use all that kind of stuff. And Cristel's going to kind of give us a peek into how she kind of makes the secret sauce taste so good, you know. And we're also going to talk a little bit about some of the fun stuff that we've had the opportunity to enjoy, some of the cool
Yeah,
conferences and moments
yeah.
and things like that, because it's not just Relo, it's Love and Relo. So we're going to talk a little bit about that here. Look at look at Craig. Craig said, "Really coming at the kid?" Yes, Craig. I'm just kidding. You know I'm kidding. We love you, man. We got to have fun here. This is great. Laura Benjamin, also a secret sauce maker. Hey there, Ben and
Ah,
Cristhel. That's great. Look at
I'm
this.
nervous. I'm nervous. My team's here.
Can we talk about hair and humidity?
Yes,
He's clapping
humidity
back.
level in Florida.
He's clapping back.
A hundred
Okay. Is he
percent.
talking to you or me? Because it's pretty humid here too.
I don't know, Ben. I think that's
Okay.
directly to me.
I've got a lot of volume. Okay. I'll give you that one. This is great. Let us know who you are, where you are. Give us a shout out. Hit that like button. We got people checking in. This is so much fun here. Everybody's getting in over here. I want to know what questions you have. We got a bunch of people watching today. What questions do you have for Cristhel here with us as well? People are checking in. We've got Kara checking in.
Yeah.
Amy.
Amy.
Amy's awesome. Love Amy. Richard from the UK.
Hello.
Hey, Craig. I see you. We got a Craig
I,
sighting over there.
I knew he was going to do that. I told him I was going to bring in, just go to his office and do everything there. We'll do a duo.
We, we
Everybody.
love Craig. Great. A
Okay.
large hello, Ben and Cristhel. Very cool. This is great.
Bonnie.
Bonnie. Jason Hall checking in. Just putting the email address right in there, Jason. Go for it. Look at that. David Linton. Yo, here to learn. Cool.
I have a big smile. My cheeks are getting nervous now.
Mine too.
This,
We're the happy cheek club.
we need to have this like an intro, a cheek massage. Sorry.
Hey, no doubt we will. Shane Burleson.
Hey,
Hey
Shane.
everyone. Caroline checking in.
Caroline. Hello. Look at
Scott
all these
Chapman.
people.
What's up, Chappie? Jonathan Johnson. Hey, Jonathan. Prosper, Texas here. We got Love and Relo and soccer. That's great. Similar amount of people watching each one. Rita, what's up? Charlotte in the house.
Charlotte. I
Less
haven't been in
humid Charlotte.
Charlotte in a while.
Yeah, it's been a minute for me too. I saw a Jay-Z concert in Charlotte, and that was my best Charlotte memory,
Huh.
actually. Yeah, it's really good. Had a great conversation with Rita at the FEM conference recently. That was cool. Tyler checking in from Glomo HQ. What's up? Casey in the house.
Casey.
This is great. Diane Ayers checking in. Adam says,
Thailand.
where's my Latino set?
¿Dónde está la gente?
Oh gosh. Do I read this?
We need to
Espero que te gusta la experiencia de La
experiencia.
Marina. All right.
Muy
Oh
bien.
gosh.
You're getting
Yeah,
good.
I see. All right. Jillian, I told you when I'm with Cristhel or I'm in Sevilla, okay, I can speak Spanish. That's it. Alan Brown checking in. William, look at this. We got a ton of people. Rachel.
Hello.
Yes, the Hove concert, Jason. Samantha from Dublin.
Hello, Samantha. That's
Indy in the house. What's up, William Joyce? Estoy aquí. Nice.
do you
Solid.
know, and I should make this an announcement. Craig does speak Spanish. Fluent.
Fluently.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Like
So
I
if you
want.
ever need some
Yeah.
assistance there, just message him.
I do need some translation services, Craig. So if you would translate for our Latinx viewing audience here, Amor y relocación. Yes. Cleveland in the house. What's up? Okay, we have a question. All right, we're going to start with questions. We're just going to start with audience questions going in here. So if you got questions, put them in here. I want to know what you are thinking. You can ask Cristhel anything. I will read it. That's how this goes. What are the trends for 2023? What are we seeing out there, Cristhel?
So I'm gonna try to collaborate the response from the feedback we got from the meetings at our the Eura conference, and I think we're all seeing a little bit, or the common feedback was we've seen a decline in our volume, but there is also that continued collaboration between partners, and that be the RMC clients, suppliers, and to continue to support clients. And then there's also the initiatives and the being creative and providing solutions to clients. There's obviously we see increases in pricing, which impacts everyone. We see still continue to see the impact to real estate or the housing availability. So that's still a something that's still trending. But I think that as there is an expectation on at least housing availability to become in the U.S. easier, but at the same time we are still in that we're not sure where we're going, right? So for us, I can say the feedback that we gather from Eura is that we also a little bit of a decline in volume, but we continue to remain optimistic in that we're going to support our clients with their needs and partner with our supply chain and our partners to deliver solutions.
Yeah, wow. Great answer. If you've got more questions for Cristhel, put them in the comments here. We will prioritize your questions. I have a follow-up on that. You mentioned that volumes are down, and I think we felt that in the first 2 quarters of this year that volumes are slower. Peak season was slower to kind of kick off as well. And I'm wondering, what do you see the opportunities to be to kind of leverage your supplier networks to come up with new and kind of creative ways to offset that, frankly, from kind of a revenue, or kind of provide solutions where your clients can find value in that, understanding that the traditional services, like maybe home sale and some of the other things, maybe moving things like that, are off. I mean, how
So
can we find opportunity in these times?
So I think even though, and I'm going to speak from the global services side or what I'm seeing on the supply chain side, is that yes, perhaps the volume is down, but the inquiries and the RFPs and the research, it's still pretty active. Clients are still reaching out and asking questions. Clients are still sometimes still inquire about pricing. So getting creative in the developing solutions and a way to deliver services, perhaps not the traditional relocation packages, but how do we meet the client need? Ultimately, we need to work with our clients and providing them with options to meet their needs. And also at the same time, it's just finding those key partnerships and work with the network. Who do you sometimes you have large suppliers, small suppliers, who is your strategic partner, or how do we all together come with a solution? So I think for me, where I look at it, it's like strategic partnerships and how do we work together to help the industry, to help our organizations and our clients at the same time. Not sure if that answers the
Yeah,
question.
no, it does. It does. And you brought up something I've also been hearing a lot about, is the increased RFP volume. That's a really good call out, because I'm hearing that from a lot of people to say, our initiation volume is down, but our RFP volume, and your point, kind of research and things like that, is really up, and maybe at an all-time high right now. Are you seeing a lot of inquiries and a lot of kind of new folks that are kind of out
We're
there looking
doing
for new solutions?
inquiries. We're also seeing area tours where clients are looking to open new offices in different
Oh,
locations. So it's that market research. Um, we're also seeing activity, or we saw some volume into countries that we had not had a lot of volume in a couple of years past. So I think clients or the different companies are looking for opportunities in new markets where they can deliver their services and meet their business need.
yeah, that's really interesting. As you're talking about like companies relocating possibly or opening new offices, really interesting. I was actually at a company earlier today that moved from San Francisco to Dallas. That's been a common kind of lane. I think there's going to continue to see increased opportunities like that. So another really good call out there. If you've got more questions, put them in the comments. We've got some really great ones coming up here, and I'm going to try to get to all of them. Cristhel, I love when they ask questions.
I'm
You're
this
very
this is
popular.
I may take well, I
Jay,
hope I can provide answers. And if
well,
I can, then we'll take them and circle back.
yes, I
We'll
love
put
it.
my email out there and feel free to
Oh
reach out.
gosh, don't do that. All right. As a pro, okay, here's a person that's put their email out here. Jason Hall, a really great viewer here, says, how does Lexicon plan on expanding its global workforce? Where will the majority of our employees, your employees, be based in 5 years? Yeah, you're talking about companies that are looking to move, and open up new offices and things like that. Do you have any insight to where
I
the global footprint
don't,
might be?
I think our company has a pretty strong global footprint today. I'm not necessarily I don't think I can give you an answer on that, but I can always come back. And we have a global footprint in that we're headquarters in the U.S. We have an office in UK, EMEA, different regions, and APAC. So I think we have a pretty good area coverage, and we have strong partnerships globally.
Yeah. Yeah, one of the truly global relocation management companies out there. Thanks, Jason, for the question. We got another question. Keep these questions coming. I like it when y'all do my job for me. Just keep these questions coming. I just get to read these questions. Cristhel, let's see here. Rita says, with corporate cost containments, potential drops in mobility volumes, how do we see global mobility talent trends?
Hmm. I'm reading this question a couple times.
Yeah, that's fine. Take your time with it.
So I
And
think I want to
Feel free to put in any kind of clarifications as well in here too, because
I
make sure
want
we
to
get it right.
tap onto. I recently attended I'm going to say the abbreviation and also what it means, the National Minority Supplier Development Council, for short, NMSDC. And so we are a corporate member of the council. And a lot of what we are seeing is the, I attended their economic forum. It's the second economic forum they have hosted. In a lot of the feedback that the organizations that participated share, or even members of the council were saying, is look at look for talent in areas that you have not looked at before. I actually, Chris Carter, I think hopefully I'm not messing up his name. It's a NFL football player,
Yeah, Chris
and
Carter. Yeah.
yeah, so he was there, and he said, "Have you considered looking at athletes as a talent?"
Wow.
Athletes are easy, are mind focused is training. They are ready to train, they're they can take a loss, they can recover, and they can look for the win. So I think we need to look for creative opportunities and just get out of our comfort zone and start looking for talent in markets or perhaps industries that we have not been looking at before. So that's where I will kind of respond to that. I'm not sure if that answers your question. Um, but I'm also, let me read it one more time because I want to touch on something else. So the other piece that we could see, it's the global mobility talent trends, right? So I personally believe that we need people. We're in the in yes, we can work from home. Yes, you can work remote, but ultimately you can't stay home forever. So I think at some point organizations are going to need to move their people closer to the office, perhaps not into the office all the time, but closer to the office so that they can come together when needed. So in the mobility talent, if you want a global footprint, you still need to move people. You can also look into hiring local, but you still need to shift your staffing around to share knowledge. Something I'm not going to say the name, but um, I heard someone, a great leader of mine, saying we can move people around within organizations. So if the costs are coming down or initiations are down and times get tough, you can
Yeah.
still just circle your people around within your organization and keep your talent, and maybe it continue to support the industry that way. I think
Yeah.
my answer it's a little all over the place there, but I'm
Well, there's
hoping
a
that
lot of
some of
ways.
that.
Yeah. There's a lot of ways this question can be interpreted, right? And Ray kind of goes on to give a little bit more of an um explanation as well. But I think your last point is really interesting too, right? Because you can circulate talent. You can either bring new talent into the organization by hiring, which has a cost of talent acquisition, or you can kind of circulate talent throughout the organization. And I think that we look at the costs of each differently when maybe we should kind of compare the two because there's a definite cost to talent acquisition. Um, I mean, we're in the recruiting space. So we know what that cost is, and that's just hard cost from a recruitment standpoint. There's also the kind of the ramp up. There's also the possibility that it may not work out, from a culture standpoint or whatever. They just may not perform. So there's a huge cost to talent acquisition. So I think global mobility could be looked at as a cost containment strategy in and of itself. So while global mobility is impacted by cost containment strategies, like we want to spend less money, we're not going to move people. It also might be preferred to going out and hiring new people as kind of circulating them through the organization. So I think there's a couple things there, and then Rita goes on to actually talk more specifically even about our actual industry itself within the global mobility industry. Could we see a major shift in more and more GMS town? I'm assuming he means global mobility specialists on the market looking for opportunities like within our industry. I've
Um,
seen a lot of corporate folks looking for opportunities lately.
and if you see me look into the sites, because I have some notes that I took from the couple of events I just attended, and one of the things that was said or shared in the economic forum last week was someone used the word arc, and he said, look at it from staying. I'm gonna try to pronounce this word properly. So you can help me. Agile, relevant,
Agile, yeah.
relevant and competitive. So I
Yes.
think that we need to look at that, especially in times where things might get a little challenging for our industry. So
Yeah.
that was a takeaway for me. And also the other piece that some organizations were sharing is, yes, times are difficult, but don't reach success by increasing your fees all the time. It's work together. So it's not, don't become just maintain some sort of a balance, finding a balance. And yes, times are tough, but we have to support each other, and that part of the increase in fees can hurt others. So you kind of want to remember to take care of your clients, and I think that's also organically going to take care of the industry or your organizations as well.
Good advice. Good advice. We've got people checking in here. Hit that like button. We are taking your questions. We are here with Cristhel Ibarra Melendez from Sterling Lexicon. She's graciously taking questions. This is awesome. I'm loving this here. Jana Chezanaski checking in.
Hello, Jana. It was great
Jana,
seeing you in Dublin.
yeah, Jana tore it up there. She graciously shared the photos with our on our Glomo Instagram, and it was looking good. If you don't follow Glomo_consulting on Instagram, you are missing some good pictures out there. So you might want to follow for photos of people in the industry. Tony
Hello,
checking in.
Tony.
Mike Falia checking in.
I actually think Jana was on a live video with you, and I saw her, and I was like a crazy person. Hi, and I saw her reaction, like hi, trying to keep her. I'm like, oh, sorry.
Jana did a live from Eura. I got to give her
I know. I
so much
think that's what
props.
I almost interrupted.
She did. It was great. We got people checking in here. It looks like is this
Hello,
Christine?
Global
Chris-
LT.
Yeah, Christine Reichenberger in the house here. Amy checking in says, "What is the most important to you in a supplier partnership?"
The
That's very cool.
partnership.
What do you
That's
mean by partnership? What does that mean to you?
so. I think we have to work together. And so for us, or for me, I can speak for our team. It's that we're not necessarily looking for the sale or for the best pricing. We're looking for the best service and the best way to collaborate. I keep using that word this year. That's been my, I think, my trending word, because we have things are not going to go perfect all the time, but it's how we come together to address an issue, or how we come together to provide a solution, or it ultimately it's that partnership, and it's the finding even opportunities for each other. Sometimes we might not be able to support a client because the service is too specific. Who will it be, the partner that we will feel comfortable to say, here, this is a great partnership, we know them, we can speak for them, they can help you with this, and the other way around. So I think the word partnership should be taken, that's what I look at
Can you give us like
mostly.
an example? Can you give us like an example of like that in action?
So okay, so we went through COVID, right, and a lot of
Mhm.
it had to go into a virtual support. And then we had the supply chain challenges, or a lot of companies had shortage in staffing. Then 2022 comes, and it's like everyone's ready to relocate while we're all trying to regroup and bring all of our supply chain together. And in the client needs and solutions, or what they're looking for, we perhaps were not necessarily, and by we I mean all together, were
Mhm.
we ready for that volume. I think we were all working at 100+% all 2022, but it was how we came together to ultimately meet the client's needs. And sometimes it may not be and Amy, you probably know it. It may not be a service that you deliver, but you may know someone else that can help deliver that service. So that collaboration, that partnership of helping each other out to ultimately deliver the service, it's what I look at.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. Yeah, 2022 was just like peak season never ended. Kara saying Sterling Lexicon treats their providers as just that, a true partner. Wow. Amy, I have to give a shout out to Cristhel for always communicating and collaborating on a continued basis with her suppliers, treating us like true partners. We work together to make it happen.
I
How does
think,
that
and
make you feel?
special, of course. It's communication is key for success. I believe in everything, and I think that when you the onboarding a partner takes so much work, and so making all that work, turn around of that, and what do you make that, what do you turn that into? It's what we look at, and communication is part of that. Maintaining constant communication with your partners. From the partner's perspective, it's knowing your client, who do you contact, or let them know what you're doing new, or get feedback from them, know their processes. Just know who you're working with, because that's going to help the processes in the service delivery to go smooth.
Yeah, that's yeah,
Thank you,
there's
Amy.
a lot there. Yeah. Yeah, Amy's awesome. William saying, yes, there's been RFP rush week for the last several months. Well, William, that's a good problem to have. I mean, that's great. You know, it's like at least if the volume's out there, I mean, that's a great leading indicator right there. Mary Lee, expect the scope of work It's not just for new markets within the RFPs, but for different scope and transactional work that companies want to outsource related to the new ways of work and mobilizing. Are you seeing new services contemplated in these RFPs? Are you seeing the scope change? Have you seen that?
I think policies are changing. I think that clients are being a little more conservative, it, but it's still the service delivery expectation maintains the quality of the service expectation. It's still the same. I think that we will have to get creative if policies start changing, and ultimately, how do we bring the service still the quality and meet the requirement. Um, I'm not necessarily sure that we're seeing different services, but I think it's the number of days authorized or the number. I've seen I'll tell you that we see more requests on cultural training, language training. I think that's tied more with the emphasis on being more inclusive and more put in the highlight in diversity. So there's a shift, but I think at the same time, it's still the relocation core services are still there.
Yeah, I'm hearing this from people saying, we're not getting the home sale and the moving. We need to focus more on other types of services. Maybe domestic volumes are down. We need to look at global. We're not seeing the extended assignments overseas, but we're seeing maybe more business travel go up. How do we start to create services to support business travelers and compliance and things like that, and I'm wondering if that is a new challenge slash opportunity for our industry to kind of reinvent some of the ways that we consult with our clients, some of the different services we sell to them.
Yeah, as you were saying, I was thinking, yes, we are, and that was part of the Eura conversations as well, that the change in the length of assignments, it is noticeable. Just also as we're seeing the drop in the real estate sales in the US. And but ultimately, I think we're all in that little bit of a unknown stage in monitoring, and just trying to be conservative with our investments and how we're managing um, the volume or the businesses that we have. In the end, we need to still continue to be proactive and solution driven. And when clients do, we need to meet our clients' needs. So uh, as clients are reaching out, as RFPs are coming up, it's the collaboration internally between the company's groups and teams on this is what we're seeing, and start working on ideas and how do we come up with different solutions.
Yeah, makes sense. We got a couple more questions. We got time for a couple more questions. Put them in the comments, and then we've got a couple things we're going to talk about as far as analytics and kind of how we manage how Cristhel manages these networks. So I'm really curious about that
Can't
because
tell
it's
you all
quite a
my
big job.
secrets.
You can't tell me all this. Well, we're going to get some
No,
of the secrets. If you stay tuned to the second half of the show, we're going to get into some of the secrets, at least a couple. I can promise you, as well as some really cool, underrated, overrated stuff as well here. Richard saying not working in global mobility. Richard's from the corporate housing and service department industry, I should say, over there in the UK. And he says, but I hear a lot that business is down. Why is this? Can you explain to some people out there who maybe aren't as in tune maybe with some of the macroeconomic factors? What are you seeing that's causing business to be down right now? And maybe when do you think that we might see some relief from that?
are you asking the
No, I'm
audience?
asking you. I'm asking you. But put it in the comments. Okay. We'll ask the audience first. We always like to have an audience question. So this is a good audience question. Richard asked the audience, and then we'll pontificate on these things. Why is business down, and when do you see it coming back? And you know what? You can also say, hey, business ain't down for me. I don't know what you're talking
Let
about.
me let me
That's
go
fine
into
too.
Craig's office right now.
Yeah. Yeah. Craig, get in the comments here. Everybody get in the comments. I want to know why do you think the business is down and when can we see an uptick? I love for everyone to dust off the crystal ball for Crystal.
Yeah,
And
not this.
yes, and let us know what your thoughts are. Why is business down and when can it come back? Cristhel, would you like to indulge us maybe in some guessing here?
Some no, I don't want to indulge on that because so I want to go back to Europe, right? A lot of
We all want
the
to go back to Euro.
common
I mean, that was
share,
amazing, right?
it's this is true, but the feedback, right? It's this recession word, and then it's the how we talk so much about it that did we get ourselves into it, and then but are we in it? Uh, Is it truly there? I mean, we see cost, we see clients being more conservatives. When do we see it go away or improving? I wish I had that information. I don't think I am qualified to answer that.
Well, here comes Craig wading into the waters
Thank
here.
you, Craig.
Craig says, and he's kind of echoing what you're saying here. We have talked so much about recession that we are slowing down our own business. Return will be when we stop speculating about how bad it will be. Okay, Craig, give me 25 more minutes and we will stop. No, but I do believe that this becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy, right? Just like the kind of the bank failures become a self-fulfilling prophecy where people get scared, they run on the bank then have the deposits, et cetera, and then they fell, right? So you know, the economy really is sentiment based and how do we feel about the future, right? I mean, the stock market is bets on individual companies and how they're going to perform in the future, right? And so I think that all of this is based on our sentiment. We do have an incredible amount of power to actually change how the economy is doing based on how we feel the economy is doing and will do. So I think this is a very, very important point. Mike Falia's saying he agrees with Craig. That being said, that being said, a recession is two consecutive quarters of negative GDP, and I think Q1 wasn't negative. I do think this one will come out as negative. I do think maybe the third quarter might be a negative one too. So I think we could have a little short blip of a recession in Q2 and Q3. But I personally think we'll be out of it in Q4. And I think this is actually the soft landing that the Fed was trying to engineer, and it doesn't feel great because we're slowing things down. We're landing the plane of inflation and kind of the runaway white hot economy we've had. But I mean, I think this is the landing of the plane. I don't think it'll be very bad, but I do think we're gonna slow things down a little bit on purpose. So that's just my take.
I like what you think. I'm
I,
supporting, and I think it kind of goes back to what Craig was saying, right? It's like if we keep saying, it's almost like a mindset. If you tell yourself you can't do something and you won't do it, and so it's we've been saying we're into this. Okay, so well, let's change it. How do we change it? I wish I had that answer, but ultimately it's a mindset.
yeah,
Hey,
yeah,
Frank.
I agree. Rick saying great interview, very relevant topics and dialogue. Thank you, Rick. Look at this. We've got some cool comments and questions coming in here. Your RMC consensus seemed to be that we would return third, fourth quarter. Yeah, and that's a good point too, right? Euro is over there, we're over here, although we touch it over there everywhere. Different countries have different economies, right? So we kind of have this global economy that kind of moves kind of together, but things aren't the same everywhere too. So it's also not the same in every sector, right? Tech is getting hit really hard. Banking, by virtue of its investments and exposure in technology, it's getting hit really hard. Other things aren't getting hit as hard, right? I mean, so we have to, I think, be careful too to paint everything with a broad brush. So we've got another questions here. Sherelle Kilgore, love Sherelle. She says, "Are your clients looking for your suppliers to have certain certifications around sustainability and DEI? Are there certain ones that have more prominence?" Good question.
The answer to the first question, yes. Is there a more prominence? I don't think I'm gonna answer personally on that. I don't think there is a prominence. I think they're equally important. I think that if your organization or the supplier company has the opportunity to be certified within IC category, I encourage them to do so. I think that's going to open business opportunities for that organization. It also opens different markets. Going back to the economic forum I attended, I met so many different business owners, business services, just overall like a whole market of it's a new community. And so it's the more you join an organization, or if you become certified, then all of a sudden you're expanding your network to learn about other markets and other potential opportunities, whether it's for a client or for your own organization.
And I got to give you and Craig and Sterling Lexicon a tremendous kudos here for being members of the NMSDC. I don't know, I'm not saying there's not any, but I don't know of any other relocation management companies that are members of NMSDC who actually show up to the events and actually actively go out and source for minority suppliers, diversity suppliers, disadvantaged suppliers outside of just going to an ERC or a EURA, right? And just kind of looking around the room. And I think we can all admit, if we look around the room, there's not a ton right there that we can see, right? But it's about pulling people into the industry and saying, hey, you have a capability. I sat down and talked to Craig about this at Worldwide ERC a couple of years ago, and he was adamant about this. And it's about, hey, you have a capability that we need. You may not even understand the relocation industry, but let me talk to you about it a little bit and see if there's a capability there. Because when we talk, and there's another question here about global supply chain issues and things like that, the global supply chain issues are exacerbated when we only look inside of our very small kind of pool, right? And so now when we start to look out and we start to bring in diversity suppliers and things like that, oftentimes those are new pools. And I've seen firsthand, not only y'all attending these events, but actually engaging with suppliers, with diverse suppliers, and bringing them into your supply chain, even over the last few years. Some clients of mine even, and I just really want to just give you recognition for that, for putting your money where your mouth is.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're
It's in,
welcome.
I think it's finding what was the word I'm looking here? It's um looking for my notes. And a fair and economic equity, it's important, and I think that providing opportunities to other businesses, it's the right thing to do, but it's also new opportunities and creative initiatives. There's in these events, I was not I met people that could be our suppliers to meet our client needs, but also our suppliers as an organization. Whether, I mean, anything that you need, it's out there. So you just have to do a little bit of research, find those organizations, and if you are able to get certified, um, do that. It's important. It helps your clients. It helps you. It opens doors.
Well, and as my friend Hosea would say, speak of the devil. Hosea Botley from Aversal Global Relocations, one of my good friends and client, amazing certified MBE and certified service disabled veteran owned small business, moving company, one of the only MBE and SDVOSB certified moving companies. Checking in there. Love to see you there, Hosea. But yeah, it means the world. All those things you said, Cristhel, it means the world to people. And if we want to really enact change in our world, we talk about inclusivity. We talk about people making people, feel safe in spaces and creating space for conversations and seeing people in real meaningful ways. There's something about economic disparity and disadvantage that we have to we have to change and be cognizant of our attitudes. But when we start placing dollars into communities and doing things like that, it can have real generational change in those communities. And I think that We have to also always be talking about supplier diversity for those reasons. And when you look at companies that are run by women or run by a black CEO or run by an LGBTQ board, they have a greater tendency to hire diversely as well. When I go to the Universal Global Relocation Conference down in Scottsdale, I look around the table, you just don't see that many black folks in the same room in a global mobility setting, and it's because the senior leadership is
Yeah.
diverse.
Yeah. And sometimes it's also you can work with your partners to expand. So if your own business or your own spend can be allocated at the time, whether it's volume or XY reason, you can always partner together with your existing supply chain to expand. So you start looking at the tier two suppliers. You can also start.
Explain tier two to people out there who don't understand.
So, say for example, if where is my who if I submit service authorizations to my partners, who are they sourcing to deliver that service? So that's an opportunity there. We have a direct partner. The partners have partners. So it's like it's a chain. And so who are we all working with? And are we opening the opportunity to a diverse network? And so that's what we look at when we're talking about building diverse networks. It made so and also it could be the okay, do you find a supplier or a small business that you could help them come to the level that you need them to be, and you're
Why is
supporting
that
that business.
important? Why is that important, that piece right there of helping them come to that level?
For uh, I will say many reasons. For me, like when I look at it from the personal side, it's like I come from Nicaragua, third world country, and started in a very small town, moved to the US, started very entry level, moved to Jacksonville, start very entry level with Sterling Lexicon relocation at the time. And because of the support the organization has given me, and also mentors, which you are one of them, even though you may not realize it every now and then when I text you. It's like the things that you are sharing with the community, it's helping others grow personally, professionally. And so that's happened to me. It's never like it's not an immediate growth, but it's how you choose your path. And you can do that an my company, I say my company, my employer has done that for me. Obviously, I've done my share. We can do that for other organizations as well, indirectly or directly. So
Yeah.
one of
Wow.
the things, and I have it, I actually took a screenshot of one of the presentations. It's sometimes we need to look at, be strategic in that there are minority business out there that the owner may be getting ready to retire. Well, how do we help them find a new owner that still follows that minority category and you're still developing that diversity?
So funny you mentioned that because we do M&A consulting at Glomo, and we do come across minority owned businesses that have these certifications and they want to exit, but it presents a peculiar problem for them because they want to exit, but so much of their business and some of the value that's been created has been based on their certification and how they partner. So you want to keep that continuity, but now it restricts the buying pool for that company to people of a disadvantaged background. So it's a really great point you bring up that I've never heard anybody bring up before, but it's very much a real thing. So if you've got any of those people that want to buy some companies, let me know because we've got some companies to sell them. So I
I'll
don't
be
want to
on
make
the
this.
lookout.
Yeah, be on the lookout. Scout some buyers for me. I don't want to make this about me though. But thank you so much about what you said before. It's really great. And I think the other thing I would say too about helping people get to that level is if we recognize that supplier diversity is really a small business problem, and the fact that most diverse or disadvantaged businesses are small businesses. Of course, most businesses in general are small businesses, but specifically disadvantaged businesses are small businesses. They oftentimes don't comply to the exact letter of the RFP um, or the requirements, the vetting process, right? And what I mean by that is they may not have the, you know, $5 million liability bond, and they may not have the quadruple factor authentication security, certificate, and they may not have, because they're a small business, right? And so some of the requirements that we put onto our suppliers, because we're doing business globally with very sophisticated companies that roll and cascade these requirements down to us, we have to get them up to speed so that they can do business on a global level with this kind of sophistication. So there's a lot of mentoring that goes on. And I'd love to see folks kind of in your seat, frankly, kind of create almost like step goals to get people to where they need to be, because it's extraordinarily costly to comply with the requirements of a global RMC, for instance, or our
And
clients.
and I think it's important for small businesses to also understand, right, that it is extremely expensive for the RMC to meet the requirements on the client. So the compliance topic right now, it's so sensitive in but what we can do to continue to develop the diversity network is how together, you said it, right, mentoring, but there's also some we have to be flexible in our terms, in that, do we look at market practices, or do we look at what is required from a global or an international standpoint? Are those countries seeing that demand? And so just building processes or requirements that are flexible, that will allow small business to also have a chance. I actually heard one of the organizations participating at the economic forum, and I'm sorry I keep bringing it up, but I was just so excited of everything I took in from there. And there are large organizations that are coming together, and they're setting up actually like a fund to help suppliers use that to get to support them to meet the insurance requirements.
Oh,
So
wow.
if you're a large company and you can do that, it's something that it will allow you to support the supplier, support the diversity, and also deliver an alternative business or service delivery to your clients. So it's collaboration. I think it's the partnerships, goes back to that.
That is a great resource, and I mean exactly what these small businesses need. So, wow. So reach out to Cristhel if
Hey,
you're a small
Rudy.
business. I'm sure that people are going to do this already. But if you're a small business and you're kind of struggling, need some ideas on the certification, the compliance angle. I'm just volunteering, Cristhel, to just save the world
And with
here.
the since compliance is something that I'm a little paranoid about, just you know provide training, research about it. I think the cybersecurity, it's such a huge concern these days. Make sure you're keeping your teams trained about that. Any cybersecurity events can be costly, can cost you a relation with the client, and ultimately it's preventable. It's something that, just by providing training to your teams, making sure you don't open an unknown email. There's nothing wrong with sending a separate email. I'm known for that, where I'll take a screenshot. Was this truly you? Because sometimes I, they look so legit that you can easily fall. Also, if you're opening an email from your cell phone, very easily you can miss a detail. So don't, as we're working so fast and going so fast in our day to day, just sometimes slow down, review your data, make sure that don't click on a link or an email that you were not expecting or you don't recognize right away. It's
That's
just
great
simple.
advice.
That actually almost happened to me. I was like, this email, I don't know, and it wasn't completely looked like a valid RFP, and then it was just one tiny spell check that made that flag go up, and it was I reached out to the sender, and it was actually not hers. So
Wow.
I don't know, just me sharing a little bit that from what I see.
Thank you for that. Yeah, and cybersecurity training is not highly technical and it's not hard. It's like it's about literally like how to recognize emails that aren't real, how to have clean desk policies, things like that. Um, really, really interesting stuff here. As we talk about data here, and we talk about cybersecurity, I want to just kind of pivot into another question around data analytics, as we did tease this topic up. I know that this is something that you're interested in. So, how can companies use analytics, or how should they be using analytics as it pertains to their supply chain management?
I think technology can help tremendously to review the large amount of data and give you some direction of where you're headed, where you don't want to be, and have those active communications on the hey, there's a flag. And I can't see this is like a setup question. I feel like I need to be careful not to spill all my secrets. No, but I think it's use the tools that are available out there to to help yourself to measure what are the key items for your organization, so know what you're looking to identify and use the technology tools to help you have metrics and share those practices with your network. Let them know what you're looking for, and have open communication about trends and things that you're expecting from the service or the partnerships.
Is there a certain tool or tech stack or anything that you use, or tips and tricks that we could use for those of us who are maybe a little less sophisticated, who are managing suppliers in other regions or places? And how do you organize that information? Where do you begin?
It's all here.
I'm trying to get the tricks out, people. I'm
All
trying to
here.
pull the secret sauce out of her brain,
No,
and
it's team
it's
effort.
locked up.
It is. We have a strong team. We collaborate. We identify where our goal. We set our goals, and we work to get towards those goals. And as far as what tools to use, I think there are so many out there. It wouldn't be fair for me to list any, um, because it's just there's so many out there. Um, I can tell you that sometimes it's just basic. I'm not. Sometimes it's just like the first it's to identify what are your goals, what are you looking for, and then once you identify your goals, then you can build processes to how do you measure those and how do you keep track of them. It's not. Uh, it's a partnership. So it's you as the requester or as the monitor, and then you have someone or your partner who is delivering. You have to let your partner know what you're looking for so that they have a goal to achieve along with your goal.
Mm. So what I'm hearing you say is establish your goals, then develop your KPIs and the drivers to those goals, and then communicate those out to your partners in a regular fashion.
Maybe, maybe.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I love it. We got more comments coming in. Hit that like button right now if you're enjoying this conversation. I really am. We've kind of gone all over here, and I love Cristhel just being kind of an open book and kind of letting us ask whatever questions
Wait, really?
we
Is
want to
it too
ask.
open? Jeez,
No,
my
no, it's
boss is
not.
right there. No.
No, no, no. You're great. Marilee saying companies that are stripping down the real estate aspects, i.e., home sale and home purchase, in their relocation programs affect financial and economic opportunities within their talent that can be generational into the future of families, especially the talent they want to lift up within the organization. So she's saying that there's a possible inclusion and equity impact to an organization if they choose to strip down benefits like home sale. It's an interesting take. What do you think about
That's a That's pretty deep. However, I do know of organizations that are out there supporting the the families and new talent in finding, whether it's, we can talk about internships, but we can also talk about sponsorships for talent. So it's somewhat as it's complex, right? Because clients are, yes, there is a change, but we don't have much control over that. But how do we adapt and how we find alternative solutions? So if the real estate aspect is removed, well, we need to get creative. And where do we go, or how do we shift that? Um, I feel like I'm doing a really bad job at responding this or addressing this, but let me read it back. Companies are without the rails. I don't know. This is tough. I I I like her comments, by the way. This is the second one, and it gets
Mary Lee has some great comments. She is. We have
Marilee, I need to meet you.
a lot of people come in. They're like, "Hey, man, what's up?" And then a lot of people, and then some people come in and they're like, "Cogent analysis, master's level mobility thesis."
But
Mary
now
Lee's
I
one of
feel
the
like we
latter.
need to talk about this though. So what do we do though? As an
Well, I'm not sure. I mean, yes. I mean, I think when you lose equity in a home or when you don't, you're a home is a lot of people's the biggest asset that they own. And so I think when you don't care for that transaction, like when you allow them to lose equity in a relocation, sometimes that equity is hard to regain, especially depending on like what cycle like home like housing prices are in. So I think that that makes sense to me. I think that you also need to look at like home ownership statistics based on different groups and see, is this adversely impacting one group over another? Um, if home sale statistics are less for one group, then this actually may have the opposite impact. I don't know enough to be smart here. I'm just kind of going on, but I think it's a really good point, though. I think it's an interesting point, and I appreciate the sharing. I've got one last question here, though. Can we try this question? This one's a little easier. Let's try this question here. Merely
Wait,
stumped
but
us with that one. Oh, you
I
want to go
want
back
to,
to it?
yes,
All
I
right.
want to screenshot it. I need to do, can I do you mind if I do that?
No, this is proprietary. I'm just kidding. Of course, you can screenshot it.
I, Marilee, I'm going to research this. I need to get back to you on this.
I love
Thank you
how
for that.
Cristhel actually she's like actually gonna follow up with Marley on this. You know what? You're a better person than me, Cristhel. Okay, but we knew that
I
already.
don't know. I don't
No,
know.
we
I
knew
don't
that.
know.
Mark. Okay, we got a
We're
question
cool.
here. We got one last question here. Hit that like button, by the way. If you love our reckless speculation on Love and Relo, I'm gonna get a T-shirts made. It's gonna say reckless speculation. Um, I love it. So Marcy saying, is Chat GPT being utilized in any of your processes?
Hmm. I
AI,
don't.
Chat GPT.
That's telling my secrets.
Uh-oh. Is it?
So I'm I'm not gonna answer that.
If you are watching this right now and you're using Chat GPT, I would absolutely love for you to tell us just how are you utilizing Chat GPT, especially if you're in the relo or global mobility business. Let us know. Are you using it? How are you using it? If you
I'm
want to
taking all the
just
notes.
if you want to put Mary Lee's question into Chat GPT and see what comes out, feel free to post that into the comments as well. I'd love to take some of these questions actually and pop them into Chat GPT. Marcy, why don't you take some of these harder questions and put them into Chat GPT and paste the answer into the comments so we can all benefit from AI here. Brad saying Chat GPT isn't a secret. Yeah, Brad, but I'm not using
But
it
how
yet,
do I
Brad.
use it in our processes? That's
Yes, that's right. Let's see here. Brad saying I have to think it's going to have an impact on the RFP process. Yeah, I mean, Cristhel, do you think we'll get to a point where we could just paste RFP questions into Chat GPT and it'll give us answers that we can submit to clients and win business?
Where I need to get with my team and come back to you on that.
You know, you don't have to answer
Where
every
where
ridiculous question that's
I'm
thrown at
gonna
you
be
on
like,
Love to
where
Reload. I
I
want you
need
to
to
know that.
connect with my. I think Rachel was here earlier.
Yeah,
Rachel, what
this
do
is
you think
interesting.
about this?
Or does it get to the point? Or does it get to the point where a corporate is like, I have an RFP question. I have 50 RFP questions here. I'm going to put all of these in Chat GPT and say, how would Sterling Lexicon answer this? How would this RMC answer this? How would this RMC answer this? And they'll never even go to bid. They'll never even ask you. They'll just put it into. Rachel saying, no, it's all about the people.
Thank you, Rachel. See, Rachel's my people.
What she's not telling you is Chat GPT wrote that response. Just kidding. She didn't. Craig saying if it does, it would be like how teachers feel about their students using it. Yeah. Yeah. Super interesting. Yeah. That's a show for another
Thank you,
day.
team. See, that's partnerships. We're all
All right.
working together.
We are over time, but we're going to take a second and we're going to do a lightning round of overrated, underrated. Okay. So normally this segment takes a little longer, but we're gonna run through it. Okay. Overrated, underrated. Cristhel, do you know how to play this game?
No,
There's
but I
basically
have
two
some
rules.
options.
There's two
Okay.
rules. Yeah, it's two rules. I'm gonna give you a prompt, a question, and you are gonna tell me if it's overrated or underrated. That's
Okay.
rule number one. And the second rule is then I get to tell you if you're right or wrong. Okay. All
Okay.
right.
I'm always right.
Hey, that's a good place to start. All right. Number one. Taking time off, overrated or underrated?
Underrated in the US.
All right,
I
correct.
think we
All
work
right.
too far.
Yes, tell me what. Yes, we do. Yes, we do. All right, number two. Determination.
Underrated. Sometimes we don't tell ourselves that we can do it enough, and we don't. Yeah, we just need to be more determined to reach the goal.
I like it. I like it. One of the things I've been taught is not to say I can't do something, I can't do it yet. Just tacking that yet on there. My 5-year-old, my son, my youngest son turned 5 today. It's his 5-year-old birthday. And I'm gonna run home. If you guys want to send presents, I'll put the my address in the comments here. Just kidding. But I have to run right after this to go home and be dad. But yeah, in his class, they have on a board, it says, we don't say I can't, we say I can't yet. And so
I have a good friend that teaches when her introducing new foods to her little girl and boy, and they'll say I don't like it, and she will say you don't like it today, maybe
you don't like it
tomorrow.
today. I
And I was
like
like,
it.
oh,
I like it. Yes, growth mindset. Okay. Next. Volunteering.
underrated. It is highly recommended. I believe that it can be healing, it can be uplifting, it could be community focused, and it can sometimes bring you, it could ground you as well to bring a sense of reality, and that sometimes we feel like, ah, so much work, so much stress, things are going so wrong. It's sometimes good to see it from a different perspective and learn that it perhaps things are not so wrong.
You know what? You're absolutely correct on this one. Ding, ding, ding. I will ask you follow-up question. Give me one volunteering idea I can do with my team.
With your team.
Yes.
Check. Well, are you all? I'm an animal advocate,
Okay.
so I'm gonna go with my first favorite. Does everyone like pets or animals?
We have a few people with pets. We're not a huge pet company, but we have a few
Okay.
people with pets.
How about gardening or parks, being in a like a trail or a park?
We have a couple outdoorsy people.
So you could do a community or a company cleanup. You go to,
Okay.
and you're like, okay, that did not
Okay. I'm
sound
like, all right.
exciting, Chris.
I was thinking air conditioning, but
No,
okay. I'm all right. So we get
no,
outdoors
you
a little
can go
bit.
in tech, and you could do that even with your own family. You just dedicate one day and you clean up your neighborhood or your local
Cristhel,
park.
my kids don't clean up their room. How are they going to go walk around and clean up the
Then
neighborhood?
you just have to start bringing awareness of the importance of that.
I feel like we need to have more conversations. I feel like
Yeah.
that's what we need to, because I have so far to go, is all I've realized at this point. I have so far to go. All right, next, listening, attention to details.
Underrated. I know, and this is a hint to the audience. Listen to what your clients are needing and asking for, and I mean, sometimes it's a matter of putting a cheat sheet together and kind of hold on to those, because when you start repeating the same thing over and over on things that you will need, it doesn't look good. So just, I think listening and paying attention to the details, it's important
I
to
feel like that
better
was,
quality.
yeah, I feel like that was directed at me, but I'm not going to take
No,
it personal.
never. No, no, no.
Kathy says, great job. I love the free flow of conversation
Thank you,
and the deep
Kathy.
thought that Cristhel gives to the questions.
For the record, this is my first live and I am very nervous. I have a note
Uh-huh.
right here that says breathe, and I have not been breathing.
Sometimes I forget to breathe too. I do things like this. I'll do mostly with like live, like when I'm on stage or something. I'll definitely like kind of forget to breathe, and yeah, it catches up to you fast. All right, last one. PB and J.
Overrated.
Overrated.
And
Wow.
I know my boss, one of my bosses, Rob Eagleson, is probably like, I'm in trouble right now.
Does he bring
Rob
PB
is,
and J for lunch every day?
he's a fan of PB&J.
And
I
what's
will
your
say,
beef? What's your beef with the PB and J?
well, probably, okay. So I volunteer at the animal rescue, and we do a lot of enrichment, which it requires a lot of food, making enrichment toys for the dogs, and we use a lot of peanut butter. And so after a while, you're just done with peanut butter. When you're trying to make 365 stuffed kongs to freeze them
Stuffed
with,
Kongs with peanut butter.
yeah, I'm done with peanut butter. No, no, no.
So it's really a peanut butter issue. You have a peanut butter aversion at this point.
I just think it's overrated. It's not that great. Almond butter, different. There's
Look at
Rob.
Rob saying every day and twice on Tuesday. I love it. This is great. Sherelle saying it was a great interview. Kara saying amazing conversation. Agree on PB and J. Do you know you are the second person in as many weeks who's come on here and slammed PB and J? You know what? I'll allow it. And you know what? Not for the same reason as you, but I don't like jelly. I especially because most PB and J's are made with grape jelly, and I do not like grape jelly. So
I
I'll
don't like
allow it.
grape jelly either.
Thank you. What
Yeah,
is this jelly masquerading and just hiding itself in everyone's fridges when it's terrible? It's atrocious. Now marmalade, sure. Even a
apricot.
preserve, yeah,
Apricot preserves.
sure.
That, yeah.
Thank you so much.
Anyways.
You validated me in a way I haven't been validated in quite some time. So thank you for that, Cristhel. I
No,
appreciate that.
thank you. Thank you.
This has
Thank
been
you,
so much
everyone.
fun. Hit that like button. It's been Cristhel Ibarra Melendez here with us from Sterling Lexicon. Show notes in the chat. Oh, almost had it. This has been a lot of fun. Cristhel, thank you so much for being here with
No,
us.
thank you, everyone. Thank you for everything you do.
Thank you so much. And hit that like button one more time and join us the rest of the week. We will be around. Very cool. See y'all. Take